Hello bookworms and welcome back to my channel. This is actually Coke because it's too warm for hot drinks. I've also picked a really bad time to film this because the sun sets in like an hour, so let's hope I finish before the sun goes down. A couple of months ago I did a video that was sort of like an amalgamation of like what I've been up to recently, a couple of favourites and a little bit of a haul, and this is kind of going to be similar. I went to Booktok Fest at Waterstones Piccadilly very recently and I was actually invited by Waterstones, which is crazy. So I thought I'd sort of show you what I got from Booktok Fest. There's also been a couple of theatre shows that I've seen recently that have been really cool and I want to tell you about. And yeah, I thought I'd also take the opportunity to talk through a few of my recent book favourites. So let's get started. So let's start with what I got from Booktok Fest. All of this was gifted, which is just insane. So I'm going to split it up into three categories. There's the tote bags, because there's a lot of tote bags. There's the books, which includes a lot of proofs. And then finally the other bits and bobs, so like prints and badges and other cool stuff. So firstly, tote bags. So the first one, probably my favourite out of all of them. This penguin one, which was given to me by Penguin, and it's one of those like really sturdy ones that is like a proper bag. The little badges may give you a clue as to what actually came in this bag. This came from Penguin and it actually did a great job of holding everything I'd been given throughout the day, so well done you. The next two are from the Pan Macmillan store. So firstly we have an Atlas 6 tote bag. I did not manage to get my hands on one of the proofs of Atlas Paradox, which they did have, but I wasn't quick enough. Unfortunately, they were gone in like seconds, but I did get this really cool Atlas 6 tote bag. The other tote bag from Pan Macmillan was this Stone Blind one, which is Natalie Haynes' new book, which is coming very soon, and it is Medusa's story. I'm so excited because I love Natalie Haynes' writing and I love a misunderstood woman. The next tote bag was from Scholastics, or Scholastic, I think it's just Scholastic, and it is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is the Hunger Games prequel book, which I actually really liked. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I enjoyed it. And then the last tote bag was from Bloomsbury, and it is this one, Best of Friends by Camilla Shamsi, I think that's how you say her name. I've not heard of this book, but I now own a tote bag with it on. So next is the books. The majority of these are proofs, but actually let's show you the finished books first. Bloomsbury gave us a tote bag with loads of goodies in it, and in the bag of goodies was Galatea, or Galatea, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it. This is a short story by Madeline Miller, the author of Circe, one of my all-time favourite books, and Song of Achilles, another one of my all-time favourite books. Also in that bag of dreams was a copy of Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Bayron, and it's also signed, which is very cool. If you've been on this channel a while, you might know that I actually DNF'd this book. I borrowed it from my library probably about a year ago now. Got to the 100-page mark, my loan ran out, didn't end up finishing it. I might give it another go, or I might do a giveaway, but at the moment I'm actually very close to moving house, so I'm not going to do that now. There's potential that this could be part of a giveaway. I have very recently hit 10,000 followers over on my TikTok, which is insane, so it might be part of the celebrations for that. The other finished book is actually behind me on the shelf already. Penguin gave us copies, finished copies, of Carrie Sotomayor's Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm not sure when this book comes out. Is it this month, next month? I'm not sure, but anyway, it's not out yet. I was very excited because I do own Daisy Jones and the Six and Malibu Rising in hardback. I still need to read Malibu Rising. I've been saving it for my next summer holiday. But anyway, I was a little bit irritated to find that it's taller. Very grateful to have been given a copy of that book. I'm very excited to read it. I love Daisy Jones the Six. That's one of my favourite books. And you might have seen earlier on the penguin bag that there was the Carrie Soto button badges. Now on to proofs. The rest are proofs. Team Bookmark or Team Bookmarked, Team BMK, I'm not sure. Team Bookmark, I think it is. They had some proofs available. They were limiting it to like 1 proof per person, so you picked one, which I actually preferred. But I picked up Let Down Your Hair by Bryony Gordon, and this is a retelling of Rapunzel about a girl who has alopecia, and the author themselves also has alopecia. I just thought that this was like a really cool idea. I love fairy tale retellings, I love Rapunzel, and I don't have alopecia, but I do have very fine hair, and I don't have a lot of hair, and I have experienced hair loss through stress, and I've always been like very conscious about my hair, especially at the back, because I don't have a lot at the back and you can see my scalp. So I'm very intrigued to read this as someone who has a lot of insecurity around their hair. Also, subconsciously, because it's a very similar colour scheme to a book that I absolutely love, that is also YA, I feel like I'm gonna love it. These next 2 were from Scholastic. The Agency for Scandal by Laura Wood, and this is a Bridgerton style. A secret detective agency of bright young women righting wrongs in 19th century London, infiltrating a scandalous Bridgerton-style high society and using their wit and bravery to unmask a villain. This sounds very exciting. This one, oh, I forgot to say when they're coming out. So Let Down Your Hair is coming out the 15th of September, so pretty soon. This one is coming out January 2023, so a bit of a while for this one. This one is chunky. They're all so floppy. I love proofs because they're always really floppy. And then we have A Game of Life and Death by Tarina Campbell? Tarina? I'm not sure. I think this is like a Black Mirror style. Yes, for fans of Black Mirror, Ready Player One and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, a YA crossover debut. So yeah, this is like a thriller. They're both kind of mysteries, but I feel like this one's going to be more like light-hearted than this one. But again, very excited for both of them. Did I say when this one comes out? Oh, this one's February 2023. So again, a bit of a while to wait for this one. The next proof was from Source Books, and it's Monsters Born and Made by Tanvi Burwa. This is a YA fantasy for ages 13 and up, and it is a South Asian inspired fantasy. And this one comes out the 6th of September, so this is another September one. And then the last 2 proofs were from Pan Macmillan. So as I said earlier, I couldn't get my hands on the Atlas Paradox because they just all went so quickly. But they did give me instead the Atlas 6 proof, which is obviously already out, and I have already read it. So there's 150 of these in the world. And they're also scented, so they're meant to smell like wood smoke, I think, or something. But I think it smells like razzles. But it's a very cool thing to own, and it's very, very pretty. This is number 101 of 150. And then the final proof that I think is probably the most exciting of all of the books that I got given. It's proof of Stoneblind by Natalie Haynes, and not only is this freaking gorgeous, like look at that foiling. It's beautiful. I just cannot wait to read this. I recently read 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. Loved it. It's just such a good book. And I've also read her book Pandora's Jar, which is a non-fiction book about women in Greek myth. She's just great. Read her books. And then the final book, which I didn't buy, I actually took it with me to get signed, because at the end of the day I went to the fantasy panel, which was Samantha Shannon, Catherine Webber and Sala El-Arifi, and Samantha Shannon is up there as one of my favourite authors. So my favourite author is tied between Erin Morgenstern and Samantha Shannon. So Erin Morgenstern is my favourite American author and Samantha Shannon is my favourite British author. And I've loved the Bone Season series for 10 years. Since it came out, and like Paige is just my comfort character. Take from that what you will. I brought along my paperback of the Bone Season. This is the original paperback cover, and she very kindly signed and personalised it for me. I was very overwhelmed meeting Samantha Shannon. She was lovely. and please give me A Day of Fallen Night right now, Bloomsbury. Thank you very much. Speaking of Sarah Elarifi, I had to rush for a train, so I only had time to meet Samantha Shannon, and I obviously prioritised Samantha Shannon because she's my favourite author. Catherine Webber, I actually had already met earlier in the day. We bumped into each other and she was just lovely. But I also already own a signed book by her because the Twin Crowns that I ordered came signed. So even though I was gutted that I obviously couldn't chat to her after the panel, I had already met her and I already have her signature. But I was gutted that I didn't get to meet Sarah Elarifi. I had heard of the Final Strife before the panel, but like I didn't know a lot about it. But hearing her talk about it, I needed it. And I didn't pick it up at the event, but I just thought I would shout it out because I picked up a copy from Forbidden Planet and it was signed. So even though I missed out on meeting her and getting her signature from her in person, I still own a signed copy, so I'm happy. And yeah, those three women were just so inspiring. Finally, we're moving on to the bits and bobs. This is going to be a little bit more chaotic because they're small and hard to organise. Firstly, we have some big prints. So the first big print that I got that I'm going to get framed is this Twin Crowns print. I love the book. It's a proper cozy fantasy, a proper comfort read, and I really love this book cover, so I thought it'd be nice to have on my wall. And then the other one that I got, which is honestly one of my favourite book covers ever, is A Far Wilder Magic by, who's it by? Alison Saft, that's who it's by. Again, I love this cover so much, and I also really love the book, so I'm gonna get that framed. And in my new place, I'm gonna have a gallery wall. So those are the two prints. A slightly smaller print is one from the Atlas 6. This is Parissa, one of the 6. She's my favourite out of the 6 of them. Also, on the back is my favourite quote from the entire book, which is, "Really, there was nothing more dangerous than a woman who knew her own worth." These are like the small prints now, so like the postcard sized prints. We have a print from the Society of Soulless Girls. I haven't actually read this yet. I don't even own this book, but I heard the author talking about this at the Electric Monkey event and knew I'd love it, so I picked up this print because I thought it was cute. And if I don't end up liking the book, I could just give it to someone who does like the book. We then have a Heartstopper character card. This is Darcy's character card. This was from Team Bookmarked, and unfortunately we can only take one of the characters, so they didn't have any Nick and Charlie left, for obvious reasons. I was tempted to go for Elle because, you know, name twins, but I think Darcy is my favourite out of all 6 of them, to be honest. So I picked up Darcy. And then I think these are the final prints that I got. And these are Evelyn Hugo prints. These are really cool. I lied, I found some more postcard prints. So this is some character art from Monsters Born and Made, which is one of the proofs that I got from source books. And oh my god, look at them. That makes me very excited to read the book. Also got, this is a signed print from the book Rapunzel or Don't Touch My Hair by Ella McLeod. I can't, it's very small writing. I haven't read the book and I don't even own it, but I thought the print is beautiful and it's signed, so I picked it up, and it's definitely a book that I am going to pick up at some point. I think this is the last print. This was in the Bloomsbury tote bag, and this is from the book I Want to Die, But I Want to Eat Tiokaboki? I've probably said that word wrong, which, yeah, it's from Bloomsbury. I know nothing about the book, but I want to read it from that title alone. I also got some stickers, which is very cool. I love stickers. Moving on to bookmarks, because I got quite a few. Inside Carrie Soto's back, I got this ticket to the US Open Women's Finals 1995, which I love, like, props, so this makes my heart happy. I have 2 Priory bookmarks because one was in the tote bag and I picked one up because I didn't look in the tote bag, I just took the things. It was very overwhelming, and yeah, I didn't look in any of the tote bags until I got home. So I picked one of these up from the table and there was one in the tote bag, and then on the back it has A Day of Fallen Night. They're all so chunky, like the book. I picked up a Twin Crowns bookmark. This is really pretty because it's all shiny. This was from the Electric Monkey table. And I also got a Monsters Are Born and Made bookmark that says, "And like a fool, I thought this golden boy cared about me." I'm very excited to read that book now. We've got a couple of pin badges. We've got 10 years of Sarah J Maas. I'm not gonna keep this. So I'm either gonna donate it to a charity shop or give it away because I'm not really a fan of Sarah J Maas. And we have another one this was from Pam Macmillan, Hex Before Marriage. This is pretty cool. This was my VIP pass, was the ticket to all of these goodies. I'm so very grateful to Waterstones for inviting me. Little old me, eh? If anybody has seen Wayne's World, this is a very niche reference, but if you've seen Wayne's World, I felt like Wayne and Garth with their VIP passes going around like...
Alice likes it.
What a woman could do whatever she wants.
Ladies. I'm sorry, no.
You got past? All right, come on.
I'm
Hurry
sorry.
up. No, I can't let you in. Sorry.
I love Wayne's World. We also got a few like samplers from different tables, so I think this was from Team Bookmark. This is a sample of Silver in the Bone by Alexandra Bracken, the author of Law. I loved Law, so quite excited about this. We have a little Pan Macmillan, like what's upcoming. I mean, look at that. Oh, beautiful. Sampler from Scholastics, and a little sample from Bloomsbury for, what book is this? A Visible Man by Edward Edinfall. There's the cover. Some sweets from Bloomsbury for the book As Long as the Lemon Tree Grows. As Long as Lemon Trees Grow. Got the S in the wrong place. I actually got 2 of these, and I've already cracked one open. A Daisy Jones and the Six concert wristband and a guitar pick. Again, fueling my absolute love of props. There's the other bag of sweets. This is very cool. Probably should have been included with the bookmarks, but hey, how we move. This is a Grishaverse bookmark from Team Bookmark, and it's metal. It's honestly so freaking gorgeous. Like, look, on the top, it's got the stags, and then it's got the little palace. Beautiful. The last little bits, I thought these were stickers, but I think they're tattoos, like temporary tattoos for Crescent City. Again, not gonna put those on my body, but might give them away. And then we also have this Alice Blakely Caretaker business card, because again, love props. And then finally, Gemma from Gem in Wonderland, I think that's her who's a wonderful TikToker, was there. She is part of a small business, and she had these little like packages for all of us, which was really cute. Had a lovely sweet letter from the other girl that also is part of the business. Oh my god, where is that other bookmark? I've just realised she gave me a Twin Crowns bookmark, and I don't know where I've put it. It's probably in a book somewhere or upstairs. It looks like this. It's beautiful. She also gave me a reading journal, and I've never had one of these, but I've always wanted one. I'm gonna wait until next year to start it, because I don't want to start halfway through the year. It's just really cool and really sweet of her to bring them for us. And I'll link the details to the shop below, because we love to support small businesses, and Jem is honestly one of the loveliest people in the world. I spent most of the day with her, and she was just lovely. I think that is everything. That is everything that I got from BookTok Fest. I can't believe I didn't buy any books. The day was just very overwhelming in a good way. So I didn't actually do any book shopping. But honestly, meeting so many amazing content creators was just incredible. Seeing them all in one room and actually seeing them in person was very surreal. I love the BookTok community. I love the book community in general. And also like getting to speak to publishers was great. Getting to be excited about upcoming books, and it was such a lovely day. It really filled my heart. I was bloody exhausted afterwards. Like the day after, I didn't leave my bed. Like I worked from home in my bed because I was just so tired and so like drained, because it was a lot, but it was amazing. So that was BookTok Fest. I've also been to the theatre recently, which is something I haven't done in a while, which is awful considering theatre is my life. I'm about to go to uni to study theatre. Just since the pandemic, I've been really bad at regularly going to the theatre. Bugsy Malone was on at the Rep. If you haven't heard of Drew McConey and you love dance, look him up. He is honestly, in my opinion, the best choreographer of our generation. But during lockdown, I actually did his company classes. They were online, free for anyone to join. So I had a go, and I just fell in love with his dance style. For one of the classes, we did one of the routines from the show. So I made the effort to book a ticket. Here's the programme. So I went on my own on a Wednesday evening. It was very, very warm. We're experiencing the hottest summer ever, full stop. I also took the time to look around Birmingham because Birmingham hosted the 2022 Commonwealth Games, which is a little bit insane. I didn't actually go to any of the games, but I thought I'd have a look because the games had finished and there were still a few things still left around. So I had a look at the Mechanical Bull, which was outside of the library, and yeah, just looked around, and it's nice to see Birmingham looking so polished. I then went to see Bugsy Malone at the Birmingham Rep, and I made a little date of it, really. I had some dinner, which was lovely. Shout out to the Rep for having clean accessibility toilets, which also had an emergency rope that went all the way to the floor, because the amount of times that I see it like tied and cut, it's ridiculous. But also, yeah, the amount of times I see unclean accessibility toilets that really smell, and like I have sensory issues, so I struggle with strong smells. But anyway, well done to the Rep, 10 out of 10. The actual show itself was great, proper stagey fun. The majority of the leads are played by children. They were great, but definitely 100% my favourite thing about the show was the dancing and the choreography, because I just love Drew McConey's choreography. Also, the Rep is just a great venue, and if you live in Birmingham or if you're ever in the area, I would highly recommend going and seeing a show at the Rep. And the other show that I've seen recently is My Fair Lady at the London Coliseum. So another wonderful BookTok friend, Jess at Jessie Reads. We've been saying that we needed to meet up because we're both actors, we both love theatre, both love Shakespeare. We've been saying for ages that we need to meet up and go see a show. And I'm obviously moving, like I've said 100 million times, I'm moving soon, and where I'm moving to is still accessible to London, but it's a bit more expensive on the train. So I thought, while it's still fairly affordable, I'll get the train to London, we'll go see a show, and we'll have a day together. And we did that very recently, and we saw My Fair Lady at the London Coliseum. I've never been to the Coliseum before, so seeing that theatre in person was incredible. And the show, I loved it. Proper, old school musical theatre with beautiful costumes, beautiful set. I loved it, I loved it. It's also getting me really excited to direct because it was giving me ideas. So that's some theatre that I've enjoyed recently. Finally, let's talk about some books. I'm not entirely sure whether I've packed these books away or not, and the sun is setting, so I haven't got time to go look. So I'm just gonna go through my Goodreads and do like a quick fire of some of my recent favourites that I've read. So firstly, The Lighthouse Witches by C.J. Cook. This is a horror, light fantasy mystery. If you love a gothic witchy book set on a wild coast, I recommend this. But I would say it is definitely, it's got some horror elements, so it's quite dark. And I was reading that in the middle of a heatwave in June. Perfect reading material. I'd recommend it for like spooky season. Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reid, which was my most anticipated read for the entire year. That was very kindly sent to me by Harper Voyager. Ava Reid now is just 100%, she's up there in the top spot with favourite authors. They know how to write a fairy tale retelling. Again, very dark. It's a gothic horror. Really dark themes. Be aware of that. The Falling in Love Montage by Kiara Smith? Kiara? Oh my god, I don't know how to say her name. I am so fussy when it comes to romances, especially rom-coms, because the majority of the time the romances that I love are actually in like fantasy, or it's a side plot basically. I don't tend to enjoy rom-coms, but I loved The Falling in Love Montage, so that is a romance recommendation from me. You don't get them very often. Our Crooked Heart by Melissa Albert, for fans of All Our Hidden Gifts. Urban fantasy, witchy, all the shit that I love. And 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. I read, oh my god, what's it called? Not The Women of Troy. Oh, what is it called? It's one of the first books that I read this year, so I'm having to scroll really far back to find it. The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker. I read that at the beginning of the year. It was so disappointed because I love Greek retellings, but I just did not enjoy The Silence of the Girls. I wasn't sure whether it was because I'd overdone the Iliad, because I read the Iliad last year, and I also read The Song of Achilles last year, so I don't know whether I was just like done with that story and Agamemnon just being like an arsehole. But since reading 1,000 Ships, I have now come to the conclusion that I just didn't like The Silence of the Girls. Because 1,000 Ships is not an Iliad retelling, but it does explore things around the Iliad. So it's lots of different stories about the women in the Trojan War. And I loved it. So those are all of my recent bookish favourites. Most of them were 5 stars. I think the majority of them were 5 stars, apart from Falling in Love montage, which I gave 4.5, which might as well have been a 5-star because it was a romance, and I don't tend to enjoy romances. Finally, I just want to talk about a TV favourite. Like, I don't usually do TV favourites because I don't really do TV, but I may have gotten into Stranger Things. I love horror books, but I'm not great with horror films. I don't do jump scares. I have kind of been putting off Stranger Things. Like, people have said to me, you'll love it, it's definitely your kind of thing, and I've gone, I'm not sure, because I'm not great with watching horror. Season 4 recently came out and everybody was talking about it, and I gave in. I watched all 4 seasons and I'm now a little bit obsessed. These have been welcomed to my bookshelf. Robin in her little work uniform and Steve in his work uniform, because these two. So yeah, I'm now officially a Stranger Things fan, and I loved it. It is definitely scary. There's a lot of jump scares, but if you watch it with the sound turned down, then you're fine. But also, this is your sign that if you've been putting off Stranger Things, watch it. It's scary, but it's so good. It's so good. It's Scooby-Doo. It's Scooby-Doo if it was horror. I'm so incredibly grateful to Waterstones for inviting me to BookTok Fest. I had the best day. I'm really grateful for the online bookish community, because I've met so many incredible people. I'm definitely having a bit of, I don't know whether imposter syndrome is the right phrase, but the fact that I've just hit 10k on TikTok is blowing my mind. We hit 150 here, 150 subscribers, which again, I'm so grateful for. I know I don't do YouTube as often, just because of like the time that it takes to film and edit, but I do love sitting down and getting to chat away. We were so close, and then my bloody memory card ran out of memory. Let's wrap this up before sun goes down and memory runs out and battery dies. Basically, I'm just very, very grateful. This might be the last YouTube video in a while because, as I've said 100 million times, I'm moving, but I'm also going on holiday. So I'm going on holiday for 2 weeks and then I'm moving. So it might be a couple of months before I am back here again. But I am going to, I would like to document my uni experience. Obviously I start uni at the end of September, which is just... Hopefully there'll be some uni content as well as book content. And yeah, just thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and happy reading.